ready to come in on another wonderful Shabbat. Barak Yahuwah. See if we can get a quick check to make sure everything's going right on the live feed. Make sure everything's going good. It looks like it is. Give it a couple minutes here before we get started. Barak Yahuwah. Hallelujah. All right. Good. All right. I'm gonna before we get going a lot. If anyone looks at the title of this, I'm starting to figure out how to do things more and more. As far as with this live streaming and things like that. But by the title of this, you can see it's the temple and offerings. We're gonna be covering something a little interesting today. We're gonna be covering, kind of doing more of a comparison of the things, as far as the temple and like the sacrifices and things like that, and kind of we're gonna go through and show what they mean in the spiritual. All right, I'm not gonna try to go too deep on this one. We're gonna try to keep it a little brief, but of course, we will do as Yahuwah wills. If Yahuwah through the Ruach wants me to speak more on it, well, we just gonna go into where He has us leading. So, with that being said, we can open up the script to 1 Corinthians. Children, shh, you're getting a little loud. 1 Corinthians, chapter 6. And we're just gonna go to. Actually, we're gonna go in and read some chapter. We're just gonna start in the beginning of chapter 6. We're just gonna get some reading in, and I'll let us know when we're gonna hit to the point of where I want to get today. But I like to read, especially when it comes to Paul. Read big passages of scripture, especially when it comes to Paul, just because he wrote letters, and so when he wrote letters, I'd like to give us more of an understanding than just a couple little verses trying to make a point. Bruce, Daniel. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Should any of you holding a matter against another go to be judged before the unrighteous and not before the set apart ones? Do you not know that the set apart ones shall judge the world? And if the world is judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? I'm not going to get too much into all this today, but just to say that, we shouldn't have to worry about, we as children of Elohim, we shouldn't have to worry about going through a unrighteous justice system. We should be able to righteously judge and handle our matters. And in fact, if we were actually living by the instructions of Yahuwah, then we wouldn't even have a lot of the quarrels that people usually go through for lawsuits. But I'm just going to say that. But I'm going to keep going on. In verse 3, do you not know that we shall judge messengers? How much more matters of this life? If then you truly have judgments of this life, do you appoint them as judges who are least esteemed by the assembly? I say this to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise one among you, not even one, who shall be able to judge between his brothers? We shouldn't have issues. But going on verse 6. But brothers against brothers goes to be judged, and that before unbelievers. Shouldn't be going before the unbelievers to get judged. Already then, there is a failure with you, that you have lawsuits among you. Why not rather be wrong? Why not rather be cheated? But you yourselves do wrong and cheat, and that to your brothers. Do you not know that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim? What is unrighteousness? Doing what's not right, what's right to the commands of Yahuwah. Do not be deceived. Neither those who whore, nor idolaters, no adulterers, nor effeminate, nor homosexuals, nor thieves, nor greedy of gain, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor swindlers shall inherit the kingdom of Elohim. So when you go against Torah, you're not going to enter the kingdom. We have to start understanding this as a nation. Verse 11, and such were some of you, but you were washed, but you were set apart, but you were declared right in the name of the Master Yahusha, and by the Spirit of our Elohim. All is permitted me, but not all do profit. All is permitted me, but I shall not be under authority of any. Foods for the stomach, and the stomach for foods. But Elohim shall destroy both it and them. And the body is not for whoring, but for the master, and the master for the body. And Elohim, who raised up the master, shall also raise us up through his power. Hallelujah. Now, this is where we're going to start getting into the subject matter of the lesson for today. In verse 15, do you not know that your bodies are members of Messiah? Shall I then take the members of Messiah and make them members of a whore? Let it not be. Or do you not know that he who is joined to a whore is one body? For he says, the two shall become one flesh. And he who is joined to the master is one spirit. Verse 18. Flee whoring. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he who commits whoring sins against his own body. Or do you not know that your body is the dwelling place of the set-apart Spirit who is in you, which you have from Elohim, and you are not your own? For you were bought with a price, therefore esteem Elohim in your body and in your spirit, which are of Elohim. All right. Shaul was saying a lot here, but like I said, I was really trying to focus more so on what he was saying in verse 19. Or do you not know that your body is the dwelling place of the set apart Spirit who is in you? So it's the dwelling place of the set apart Spirit, which you have from Elohim, and you are not your own. All right. So what was Shaul referencing when he was talking about our bodies being the dwelling place of the Spirit? Where did he get this from? If we understand what was being mentioned throughout all of script and what Mashiach was revealing, we would understand that our body is a temple. Oh, baby. That's my little one. He just woke up from a nap. But let's go. We're going into the book of John. You okay? And give me just a second here. Oh. Hey. Let's give it to him. Go sit down. I'm getting ready to finish my teaching. Stop. Go sit down. What? Well, you'll have to wait a minute. Go sit down. You just say, go sit down. Stop. Stop.
I'm just hungry.
Sit down, please. Go sit down, please.
I'm gonna get a snack
Okay.
in a few minutes.
All right. So, forgive me about that. I don't gotta. get back here to where we were. We are in John chapter 2, the book of John chapter 2. And we're going to go into verse 13. And the Passover of the Yahudim was near. And Yahusha went up to Jerusalem, and he found in the set apart place those selling oxen and sheep and doves. And the money changers sitting, and having made a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the set apart place, with the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the money changers' coins and overturned the tables. And he said to those selling doves, "Take these away. Do not make this house of my father. Do not make my father a house of merchandise." And his taught ones remembered that it was written, "The ardor of your house has eaten me up." And the Yahudim answered and said to him, "What sign do you show to us, since you are doing these?" Yahusha answered and said to them, children, verse 19, Yahusha answered and said to them, "Destroy this dwelling place, and in 3 days I shall raise it." Then the Yahudim said, "It took 46 years to build this dwelling place, and you are going to raise it in 3 days?" But he spoke about the dwelling place of his body. So, when he was raised from the dead, his taught ones remembered that he said this to them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Yahuwah had said. And when he was in Jerusalem at the Pesach, at the festival, many believed in his name. And when they saw the signs which he was doing, but Yahusha was not entrusting himself to them, because he knew all men. It had no need that anyone should witness of man, for he knew what was in man. We're going to chapter 3. We're going to continue on. As Messiah said, he said back in 19, he said to them, "Destroy this dwelling place, and in 3 days I shall raise it." So he was saying that the body is the dwelling place of the spirit. Chapter 3. And there was a man of the Pharisees, Nicodemus was his name, a ruler of the Yahudim. So he was an authoritative figure in Yehuda. This one came to Yahusha by night and said to him, "Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from Elohim, for no one is able to do these signs you do if Elohim is not with him." Yahusha answered and said to him, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born from above, he is unable to see the kingdom of Elohim." Nicodemus said to him, "How is a man able to be born when he is old? Is he able to enter into his mother's womb a second time and be born?" Yahusha answered, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he is unable to enter into the reign of Elohim. That which has been born of the flesh is flesh, and that which has been born of the Spirit is spirit. Do not marvel that I said to you, you have to be born from above." I'm going to stop right here because, children, Yahushua is telling us, he was giving us a little, what we see here is, he said, that which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. Is not the Father Spirit, as he was speaking? He spoke to the woman. He said, "Time is coming where we have to worship the Father in spirit and truth." So he's saying, we're gonna go there. Actually, Let's see here. Let me go here. Let's see here. Where was I going to? Um, excuse me. So we're going to turn over to now Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2. We read about Paul telling us that our bodies are a temple. Yahusha referring to the dwelling place being the body. So in Ephesians chapter 2, we are going to go into right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They will come out. I mean,
Okay. We are going into verse 15. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, the Torah of the commands and dogma, so as to create in himself one renewed man from the two, thus making peace, and to completely restore to favor both of them unto Elohim in one body through the stake, having destroyed the enmity by it. And having come, he brought as good news peace to you who were afar off, and peace to those near. Because through him we both have access to the Father by one Spirit. So then, you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens of the set apart ones and members of the household of Elohim. We're looking at this as about, citizenship. Again, nation thing. Verse 20. Having been built upon the foundation of the emissaries and the prophets, Yahusha Messiah himself being chief cornerstone, in whom all the building being joined together grows into a set apart dwelling place in Yahuwah, in whom you also are being built together into a dwelling of Elohim in the Spirit. So we're all becoming the temple. This is why Mashiach said our body is the temple. This is why Mashiach said, if you destroy this body, I'll raise it in 3 days. This is what Shaul was saying. Our body is a temple, because they're showing us the spiritual side of being a dwelling place of Elohim. How we're supposed to build together as and I'm sorry. Well,
My bad. What was the address for that?
Ephesians 2. Yes. A little off here, guys. I apologize. Luke. I'm gonna go, I think, to Luke 20 next. Luke 20. All right, we're going to Luke chapter 20. Luke chapter 20. And it came to be, starting in verse 1, and it came to be on one of those days, as he was teaching the people in the set apart place and bringing the good news, that the chief priests and the scribes together with the elders came up and spoke to him, saying, say to us, by what authority you doing these? Or who is he who gave you this authority? And Yahusha answering said to them, I shall ask you one question too, and answer me. The immersion of Yehochanan, was it from heaven or from men? And they debated amongst themselves, saying, if we say from heaven, he shall say, then why did you not believe him? But if we say from men, all the people shall stone us, for they are persuaded that Yehochanan was a prophet. And they answered that they did not know from where it was. And Yahusha said to them, neither do I say to you by what authority I do these. And he began to speak this parable to the people. A certain man planted a vineyard and leased it to farmers and went away for a long time. And at harvest time, he sent a servant to the farmers to give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the farmers beat him and sent him away empty-handed. And again, he sent another servant, and they beat him too, and maltreated him and sent him away empty-handed. And again, he sent a third, and they wounded him too, and cast him out. And the owner of the vineyard said, what shall I do? I shall send my son, the beloved. They might respect him when they see him. But when the farmers saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, so that the inheritance becomes ours. And they cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then shall the owner of the vineyard do to them? He shall come. No, sit down. One. He shall come and destroy those farmers and give the vineyard to others. And having heard, they said, let it not be. But he looked at them and said, what then is this that has been written? The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone shall be broken, but on whomever it falls, he shall be pulverized. And the chief priests and the scribes sought to lay hands on him in the same hour, but they feared the people, for they knew that he had spoken this parable against them. Barak Yahuwah. Okay, so he was speaking this. The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. What is being built? What is being built? It's the temple of Yah. Hallelujah. He was quoting in Psalms 118, by the way. We're going to go over there real quick so we can see what Mashiach was talking about. Psalms 118. Psalms 118. All right, we're going to go to verse 118, and we're going to go in verse 14. Yah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. The voice of rejoicing and deliverance is in the tents of the righteous. The right hand of Yahuwah is doing mightily. The right hand of Yahuwah is exalted. The right hand of Yahuwah acts mightily. Let me not die, but live, and declare the works of Yah. Yah has punished me severely, but did not give me over to death. Open to me the gates of righteousness. Enter through them. I thank Yah. This is the gate of Yahuwah. The righteous enter through it. Hold on, wait a minute. What did Mashiach say? Wasn't he the door? I'm going to read that again. In verse 20. This is the gate of Yahuwah. The righteous enter through it. I thank you, for you have answered me, and have become my deliverance. The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This is this was from Yahuwah. It is a marvelous in our eyes. This is the day Yahuwah has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Hallelujah. I'm going to stop right here. But we see up in verse 22, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This was from Yahuwah. It is marvelous in our eyes. See, just to say plainly here, the builders that were supposed to build the house of Yahuwah, they were supposed to build the people up, teach the people how to walk as Yahuwah had wanted us to walk. They were supposed to build, as he said. You know what? We're going to go into Exodus. We're going to go into Exodus because this is what he was talking about here. Exodus 19. Exodus 19. He says in verse 5, and now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. So he said you're going to be a possession. You are my people, I am your Elohim. But what requires this to happen? What builds this house, if you will? It is built on the foundation of obedience. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set-apart nation. Those are the words that you are to speak to the children of Yashrael. So, we're supposed to be building up a righteous house, a set-apart house for Yahuwah to dwell. For Yahuwah to dwell amongst us. Barak Yahuwah. We have to understand what he really desired from us. We're going to go into 1 Samuel. I'm going to go to 1 Samuel. Because I think we see that the body is the temple. So what was done in the temple? The temple was a place of worship. They offered the sacrifices, the incense, showbread. It was the house of Yahuwah. 1 Samuel. And we're going to go in chapter 15. And we're going to actually read this entire chapter, most of this chapter, starting in the first verse, because I want to get us the whole context of this. So in the first verse of chapter 15, 1 Samuel. And Shamuel said to Shaul, Yahweh sent me to anoint you sovereign over his people, Yashrael. And now, listen to the voice of the words of Yahuwah. There's the key part right there. Listen to the words. Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, I shall punish Amalek for what he did to Yasrael, how he set himself against him on the way when he came up from Mitzrayim. Now go, and you shall strike Amalek, and put under the ban all that he has, and you shall not spare them, and put to death from man to woman, from infant to nursing child, from ox to sheep, from camel to donkey. Then Shaul summoned the people and mustered them in Talim, 200,000 foot soldiers and 10,000 men of Yahudah. And Shaul came to a city of Amalek and lay in wait in the Wadi. And Shaul said to the Canaanites, go, turn aside, come down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you did show loving commitment to all the children of Yashrael when they came up from Mitzrayim. So the Canaanites turned aside from the midst of the Amalekites. And Shaul struck the Amalekites from Hoal all the way to Shur, which is before Mitzrayim. And he caught Agag, sovereign of the Amalekites, alive, and put under the ban all the people with the edge of the sword. But Shaul and the people, so Shaul and the people, see, we see Shaul and the people here, spared Agag and the best of the sheep and the cattle and the fatlings and the lambs and all that was good, and would not put them under the ban. But all goods despised and worthless they put under the ban. Now, what did we read that Yahuwah told Shaul to do? He told him to strike everything. All of it. Sheep, ox, donkey, camel, all of it gone. So what did we read here? Over in verse 9, he's not Shaul and the people. That's I want to stress that part real quick. Spared Agag and the best of the sheep and the cattle and the fatlings and the lambs and all that was good. So he kept it. He didn't put it under the ban. Verse 10. And the word of Yahweh came to Shamuel, saying, I am grieved that I have set up Shaul as sovereign, for he has turned back from following me, and has not performed my words. And it displeased Shamuel, and he cried to Yahweh all night. And Shamuel rose early in the morning to meet Shaul. And it was told to Shamuel, saying, Shaul went to Carmel, and see, he set up a monument for himself, and turned and passed over, and went down to Gilgal. And Shamuel came to Shaul, and Shaul said to him, Blessed are you of Yahweh. I have performed the word of Yahweh. What did he say? So he said that he performed the word of Yahweh. No, he didn't. We just read what he did earlier. A couple verses up. Verse 14. But Shamuel said, What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the cattle which I hear? Now this is what Shaul said. Now listen what Shaul said. He didn't take any blame, but we see he was part of this earlier. They have brought them from Amalek, because the people spared again, he blamed the people. Didn't take no blame for himself, even though he was the one who did it too. Spared the best of the sheep and the cattle to slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim. See, they were going for slaughtering. They kept the best. You know, the firstborn of the flocks, the best, that's Torah. That's Torah, right? To sacrifice the best. So this is what Shaul was thinking. And brought from his span the best of the sheep and the cattle to slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim, and the rest we have put under the ban. And Shamuel said to Shaul, Wait and let me declare to you what Yahweh said to me last night. See, last night Yahweh already knew. And he said to him, Speak. And Shamuel said, Though you were little in your own eyes, though you were little in your own eyes, were you not head of the tribes of Yashrael? And did not Yahweh anoint you sovereign over Yashrael? And Yahweh sent you on the way and said, Go, and you shall put under the ban the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they are consumed. And why did you not obey the voice of Yahweh, but swoop down on the spoil, and did evil in the eyes of Yahweh? And Shaul said to Shamuel, I did obey the voice of Yahweh, and I went on the way in which Yahweh sent me, and brought back Agag, sovereign of Amalek, and I put Amalek under the ban. But the people, again, he's trying to say, but the people, Yahweh already knows, you already did this, man, so quit. But the people took the spoil of the sheep and cattle, the best of that which should have been put under the ban, to slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim in Gilgal. Then Shamuel said, this is key right here. Listen, this is key right here. Then Samuel said, does Yahweh delight in ascending offerings and slaughterings, as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? So, what did Shaul do? He thought he was gonna bring the best cattle to present the best slaughtering, but Yahweh does not care about the slaughterings, the offerings. Listen what Samuel tells him. This is what he tells him. Look, to obey is better than slaughtering. To heed, to listen, is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of divination, and stubbornness is as the wickedness of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahweh. When you reject the word of Yahweh, he also does reject you as sovereign. See, this right here is an example, I think, for all of us. Because Shaul disobeyed Yahweh. He rejected the word. And because of his rejection of Yahweh's word, Yahweh rejected him. We cannot walk in disobedience to Yahweh and think that he is going to accept us. He is not going to accept an imperfect offering. He's not going to accept someone that does not listen to him, someone that does not walk in his instruction. Daniel. So if he's not going to accept those that do not walk in his ways and do not obey his voice. That's what he was letting Shaul know. But I also want us to see something here, because we see that obedience is equated to what? The offerings. The ascending offerings and the slaughtering offerings are equated to obedience. We're getting somewhere. Now, we're seeing what Mashiach was talking about when he said, the time is coming where you need to worship the Father in spirit and truth. Okay? Let's put it like this. What's the temp? You know what? Before I go there, I'm gonna jump over back into Exodus, jump back into Torah. Exodus 20. Because I want to point something out here. I'm going to point a couple things out here. I'm going to try to get ready to draw the whole thing together here with these verses. But in Exodus 20 and in 24, so Exodus chapter 20 and verse 24, make a slaughter place of earth for me, and you shall slaughter on it your ascending offerings and peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle, in every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I shall come to you and bless you. Verse 25, and if you make me a slaughter place of stone, do not build it of cut stone, for if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. So I want us to look at two things in here. First thing, in the first slaughter place, he said, if you're going to make a slaughter place for me, I'll make an altar, a place for you to make your sacrifices. A place to make your sacrifices. This is key. Barak Yahweh. It has to be made of earth. Earth. Was not Adam came from earth? Okay, see, we got to look at this here. And if you make me a slaughter place of stone, do not build it out of cut stone. For if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. And again, he's saying, You can't shape these stones. If you do make my slaughter place, you can't shape it to how you want it. It has to be stones from me, from the earth, from what I created. You can't build my house, is what he's saying. A man's hands cannot build my house. If we don't, you know what? People don't believe this. I don't think people are understanding this, so I'm gonna break this down real simple. We're gonna go somewhere where actually Yahuwah speaks this. We're gonna go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66. Starting in first verse. Thus said Yahuwah, the heavens are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you built for me? And where is this place of my rest? Excuse me just a second. I'm sorry. My teaching keeps getting interrupted today. I'll be right back. Both of you, sit now. Do not move. Neither one of you. Not one. Not one move. Not one word. Zilch. None. Don't want to hear it. Done. Slakia, forgive me. Gotta be dad sometimes. So we'll start back over in Yeshayahu, Isaiah 66 in the first chapter. Thus said Yahuwah, the heavens are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you built for me? And where is this place of my rest? And all these my hands has made, and all these that exist. I'm going to stop right here before I continue going on, but I want us to look at something here. I want us to think about something. This is in Isaiah, Yeshayahu. And let us think about something here. Yeshayahu was around the time of Hezekiah. The temple was already built. The temple that Solomon built was already built. So what is this house being referred to? I just want us to say a lot. I think we just read this and not think about, like, wait a minute, this is in the book of Yeshayahu. Yeshayahu came after the fact. The temple was already there. Temple was already built. So what is this temple? What is this house he's talking about being built if his house is already built? I think we get a clue here. This is what, he spoke in parables. When we look at Mashiach when he was in the flesh, he spoke in parables. Even I think in Isaiah we find that he says, I'll open my mouth in riddles, and we these are prophecies in the Old Testament. Forgive me if I'm wrong on the address, but we know these things are in there. But going down, continuing in verse 2, all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yahweh. Yet to such a one I look. To such a one I look. On him who is poor and bruised of spirit, and who trembles at my word. This is Yahuwah declaring who he looks to, who he's looking upon, who he is coming to sup with. Who, as Mashiach said, I'm just paraphrasing, but he said, me and my Father will come and abode in him, be with him. We seeing what's being said all throughout. We're seeing that there's a place Yahuwah likes to reside. There's a place Yahuwah wants to reside, and it isn't made by man's hands. It has never been about what man could give and what they could build and offer up. Yahuwah already told us what we could offer up. We offer up our obedience as a sacrifice. Barak Yahuwah, hold on here just a second. Let me look up something here. I just want to pull this in. Because I did not write it down in my notes. I don't know why it keeps coming up in the plans, but forgive me here. Living sacrifice. Why is it not coming up right? I don't know why it keeps jumping over there, but let's try this again. Jeremiah 7. Well, I'm trying to get this loaded up. I want to go over to Jeremiah 7. Jeremiah 7. And in we're going to start actually in we're going to start in the first verse. We're going to start right in the first verse here. All right, here we go. Jeremiah 7. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, stand in the gate of the house of Yahuwah, and you shall proclaim there this word, and shall say, hear the word of Yahuwah, all you, keep going here. All you who of Yehuda, who enter in at these gates to bow before Yahuwah. Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yashrael, make your ways and your deeds good. Then I will let you dwell in this place. So he's telling them, first off, make your ways good, and I'll let you live here. Do not trust in these false words, saying, this is the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah. For if you truly make your ways and your deeds good, if you truly do right ruling between man and woman, if you do, or man and his neighbor, if you do not oppress the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, and do not shed innocent blood in this place, or walk after other mighty ones to your own evil, then I shall let you dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever. See, you are trusting in... Okay, I'm going to just jump down here. So he's letting them know, if you're not being righteous, you're not going to stay in my temple. You're not going to stay in my dwelling place. I'm not going to let you stay in my land. I'm not going to let you stay in my dwelling place. Your sacrifices, these things are not going to be acceptable to me. I'm not going to accept what you do when you are working wickedness, when you're working lawlessness. Children. Okay, sorry. Verse 20. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, my displeasure and my wrath is poured out on this place. So he's pouring it out where his temple is. On man and on beast and on trees of the field and on the fruit of the ground, and it shall burn and not be quenched. Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yashrael, add your ascending offerings to your slaughterings and eat meat. For I did not speak to your fathers or command them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim about matters of ascending offerings or slaughterings. We already read that back in Exodus 19. Verse 23. But this word I did command them. What did he say? Obey my voice, and I shall be your Elohim, and you shall be my people, and walk in all the ways that I have commanded you, so that it be well with you. See, he didn't talk to him about ascending offerings. He didn't want the offerings. He wanted them to obey his voice. This is what we are seeing being conveyed here. This is the message. The message is all that was the whole picture of everything. The picture of the temple. Now, when you looked at the temple, when the Yashar saw the temple, they saw it was a set apart place. They didn't allow anything of defilement to come in. They didn't allow defilement outside of the temple. They did not allow you to bring a blemished lamb for a sacrifice. They did not allow you to bring a pig to sacrifice. They did not allow you to do these things, to offer up to the creator of heaven and earth. So the thing is, what I'm trying to show here from what the scripts are showing is that we are how the temple was ran, how the temple was taken care of. This is how we are supposed to look at ourselves, being that we are the temple of the set apart spirit. This is why we seen what we just read in First Corinthians, where he was talking about don't join your members to a whore, don't be a thief, don't be a murderer, these things that defile. Hallelujah. I want to go, I think I'm going to hit First Corinthians again. First Corinthians 11. We're going to jump over there. First Corinthians 11. And let me get in the right Corinthians. So I was in second. First Corinthians 11. And then let's see here. Maybe it was. Sorry about that. Not First Corinthians. That's not where I was looking at. Okay, sorry. It was Romans 12. That's where I wanted to go. Romans 12. Just a couple verses here. I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of Elohim, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well pleasing to Elohim, your reasonable worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you proving causes action, requires action. Prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Our reasonable our reasonable service, our reasonable worship should be presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. We see from Jeremiah 7 that it was obedience over sacrifices. We see in Shamuel, it is obedience over sacrifices. Our lambs, the bulls, these were the sacrifices. You know, these were the sacrifices. Sacrifices were placed where? On an altar, on a slaughter place. Where was the slaughter place? The temple. What I'm trying to say here is when we read in Exodus that they had to build a slaughter place of earth. The slaughter place is supposed to be our heart. Let's just break this down. The slaughter place is our heart. Whatever you put on your heart is going to become your sacrifice. What I mean by that is people who put money on their heart, they are putting money, a material thing, something made by man's hands, if you will, on their heart. And so, because that is on their heart, they are going to do whatever means necessary to get that money. People don't mind stealing from their brothers and sisters. People don't mind murdering their brothers and sisters. People don't mind doing false accusations. People don't mind taking bribes if money is on their heart, if money is on their slaughter place. If they are serving pretty much the mighty one of fortune, money, Satan, we can't serve, you can't have two masters. We'll serve one and hate the other. So if you put money on your altar, on your heart, your actions are going to show how you are operating. Your actions are going to show. You're going to sacrifice. See, this is, we don't even catch it when we look in our modern world. When I was in the secular world, when I used to rap, you know what I'm saying? What did they say about the first thing they said about when you were trying to make it in the rap game? You have to sacrifice this, sacrifice that, sacrifice for you to get what you want. You have to you have to offer up a sacrifice to that deity, in a sense. If you want to make it in the rap game is essentially became your God. So if that's the case, you are going to do everything towards that. This is what Yahuwah was saying. Put my Torah on your heart. Put the offerings. The offerings is equated to obedience. Why? Because obedience has to first take place in the heart. Because if it's in your heart to obey Yahuwah, then your actions will bring forth the same fruit, obedience to Yahuwah. And what was about the temple? Solomon's temple was beautifully built. But we have to understand something. When people saw the beauty of the temple, they knew the temple was the house of Yahuwah. Boys, So when we equate that to the fact that when people saw the temple, they knew what that meant. They knew the temple was the house of Yahweh. So when we want to put this in the spiritual side of it, if we are representing the Father, when people see us, it should be just like people seeing the temple. I'm gonna say that again. If we claim to be of Yahuwah, if we represent Yahuwah, when people see us, it is like they are seeing Yahuwah's temple. And if they are seeing Yahuwah's temple, you have to come a certain way to Yahuwah's temple. You're gonna come at Yahuwah's temple a certain way. You're gonna make sure you first off when you understand the Torah commands of the little Torah commands, they couldn't come into the temple unclean. So even if they were with they're married and handled, they're still unclean till evening. Women during their time of menstruation were unclean till evening. If you were a leper, you were unclean. So you couldn't enter. We had all these things, these instructions in place about the temple in regards to being clean and unclean. What would defile the temple? What was the defiling agent of the temple? You putting up a blemished sacrifice, a pig sacrificing. That's temple defiling there. So if we equate ourselves like Shaul was trying to show, what Mashiach was showing, if we equate ourselves with the temple of Yahuwah, then we will start looking at ourselves as this temple, and therefore the action should follow. The action should follow that we are not going to eat pork sandwiches. Why? Because a pig would defile the temple. You wouldn't place a pig in the temple. You knew that would be defiling. So why would you put a pig in this temple? You're going to say that your body is a temple. Let us go all the way with that. So let us look at how the temple was handled so that we can learn and better understand how we should handle ourselves. Because our body is the temple for the Spirit. The Most High, His Spirit does not stay where it's filthy. It departs. It departs. I thought about going somewhere else. I'm still debating if I want to go there or let's see. I think I'm gonna just I think I'm gonna go on. I think I got my point across. I think what Yahuwah wanted across was that we need to understand that the temple, and that's why it was destroyed. That's why in 70 AD it was destroyed, because it is no longer about where we worship. It's about how we worship. I'm going to say that again. It's not where we worship, but it's about how we worship. Come and now is for those that seek to worship the Father, to worship Him in spirit and in truth. So we need to understand that that's where we need to be. Before we can start going on, leveling up even more and more, so we have to understand that the foundation, the chief cornerstone, Yahusha, is the chief cornerstone for building this house of Yahweh. And if we're gonna build this house of Yahweh, we have to build it as he said in Exodus, as he told Moshe, you have to build exactly to the pattern. Mashiach was the pattern for the spiritual temple. Are we gonna follow that? I'm gonna end it with that. For all who have watched, who've chimed in now or who might watch later, may Abba Yah bless you and shine his face upon you. Shabbat Shalom to all who watch. And I pray that that Yahuwah is able to speak to all who watch this and edify and encourage and grow us in our understanding of the temple. Because we are that temple of Yahuwah. We are the temple of the Spirit of Elohim. So with that being said, may everyone have a blessed evening. All esteem and praise goes to Yahuwah in Yahusha's name. And may his hand of protection and mercy stay upon you. Shalom.